Uh, Good day, everyone. My name is Joseph Baraza, and in this presentation, I'll discuss Kant's categorical imperative and its application to a moral scenario. I will also connect this analysis to feminist ethics, particularly the concept of intersectionality. The aim is to show how moral reasoning can be strengthened by combining logical principles with an awareness of social context. This presentation is structured in three parts. First, I will explain Kant's categorical imperative and its three formulations. Second, I will apply these principles to a real-world scenario involving biased hiring. Finally, I will connect this analysis to feminist ethics and intersectionality to provide a broader ethical perspective. Kant's ethical theory is based on duty rather than consequences. He argues that an action is morally right if it is guided by reason and follows a universal moral rule. Unlike theories that focus on outcomes, Kant emphasizes that morality depends on whether an action can be justified logically and consistently for all individuals. The categorical imperative is the central principle in Kant's moral philosophy. It is a rule that applies universally regardless of personal desires or circumstances. In simple terms, it asks whether an action is morally acceptable for everyone, not just for specific individuals or situations. The first formulation is the formula of universal law. It requires that we act only in ways that can be applied as a universal rule. Before taking an action, we must ask, what will happen if everyone acted in this way? If the action creates a contradiction or makes the system fail, then it is not only morally acceptable. A common example is lying. If lying were universal, trust would collapse because no one will believe what others say. Since communication depends on trust, lying cannot be consistently applied as a universal rule. Therefore, it is morally wrong according to Kant's framework. The second formulation is the formula of humanity. It states that we must treat people as ends in themselves, not merely as means. This means that respecting the dignity and worth of every individual and avoiding actions that explore or manipulate others for personal gain. For example, using someone only to achieve personal benefit without considering their interests or consent violates this principle. Such actions reduce individuals to tools rather than recognizing them as persons with inherent value. The third formulation is the formula of the kingdom of ends. It asks us to act as if we were members of a moral community where everyone follows rational and fair rules. In this community, all individuals are treated equally, and moral decisions contribute to a just and cooperative society. Consider a hiring situation where an employee selects a candidate based on personal bias rather than qualifications. This decision ignores merit and creates unequal opportunities for applicants who may be more qualified. From the perspective of the universal law formulation, this action fails. If all hiring decisions were based on bias, the system would become unfair and unreliable. merit will lose its value, and trust in employment process will be undermined. From the humanity perspective, the employer fails to respect the dignity of the applicants. Candidates are not treated as individuals with equal worth, but are instead judged based on subjective preferences. This violates the principle of treating people as ends in themselves. From the perspective of the kingdom of ends, such behavior cannot be justified. A fair and rational society will not accept biased hiring practices. These actions weaken ethical standards and undermine the idea of equal participation in a moral community. While Kant's provide a strong logical framework, feminist ethics highlights the importance of context, relationship, and lived experience. It emphasizes that ethical decisions should not be made in isolation from social realities. Issues such as power, inequality, and historical disadvantage must also be considered when evaluating moral actions. Intersectionality strengthens this analysis by showing that individuals experience inequality differently depending on how factors such as race, gender, and class interact. As argued by Gopaldas, identity is shaped by multiple overlapping influences, while Cabado explains that systems can appear neutral while reinforcing inequality. Crenshaw further demonstrates that when these intersections are ignored, some groups become invisible. In conclusion, Kant's categorical imperative provides a clear method for evaluating actions based on reason, but combining it with feminist ethics allows for a more complete understanding of fairness and justice in real-world situations. Thank you.